Boba Fett's iconic Slave One is part of the Wave 2 expansions for Fantasy Flight's X-Wing Miniatures game. Boba Fett is one of the most revered Star Wars characters, which is sort of weird, since he has like 3 lines of dialogue in the original trilogy, and then he gets taken out by a blind man with a stick. Still, there's no way he wasn't going to be included in X-Wing. The Imperials have a real shortage of well-known and recognizable large ships, so the Slave One fills a much-needed slot there, even though Boba Fett really isn't part of the Empire. That's going to be fixed in Wave 6, when the launch of the Scum and Villainy faction delivers a new version of Boba Fett and lets him fly alongside his fellow bounty hunters, pirates, and criminal scum. In X-Wing, the Firespray 31 is a versatile and powerful large Imperial ship. It features a rear-facing auxiliary firing arc. This allows it to make primary weapon attacks against targets using either the standard front-facing arc or the new rear-facing auxiliary arc. The Slave One was released in Wave 2 back in 2013, and as of Wave 5 in November of 2014, it's still the only ship in the game with an auxiliary firing arc. While it's not quite as good as the primary turrets on the YT-1300, YT-2400, and VT-49 Decimator, this rear-facing arc gives the Firespray a very large window of attack. On the maneuver dial, the Firespray has most of the bases covered. While it can't perform tight turns at speed 1, it can do just about everything else, and the only red maneuvers are K-turns, which it can pull off at speeds of 3 or 4. This is a good dial with no real shortcomings. Looking at the stats, we have the standard high-end attack value of 3, and you can see the small double chevrons above and below the attack icon, indicating the presence of that auxiliary firing arc. The agility of 2 on a large ship is the current high watermark in the game. Every other ship so far has agility values of 1 or 0. That's going to change soon, though, with the release of fellow bounty hunter IG-88's ship, the IG-2000, as part of the Scum and Villainy faction. 6 hull and 4 shields give the Firespray some solid staying power. On the action bar, we see another thing that sets the Firespray apart from the other large ships in the game. In addition to the standard focus and target lock, it's got the evade action. Although the Millennium Falcon can get evade via its title card, no other large ship currently has it printed on the card. An agility value of 2 and evade gives the Firespray a decent chance of avoiding lots of damage over the course of a game. The upgrade bar has a diverse selection of options. All Firesprays can take 1 cannon, 1 bomb, 1 crew, and 1 missile, giving you lots of choices when thinking about how to customize this ship. No surprise, Boba Fett is the star pilot of this expansion. He has a pilot skill of 8 and costs 39 points. His ability lets him change his banking maneuvers at will, letting you choose whether to curve to the left or right whenever you reveal a banking turn. This is important because that slight change in facing is often all you need to bring an enemy ship into either of the Firespray's firing arcs. The ability to change your banking direction can be very powerful and shouldn't be underestimated. Boba Fett can also take an elite pilot talent upgrade in addition to the other options available. Next up is Kath Scarlet. She's got a pilot skill of 7 and costs 38 points. Whenever she makes an attack, she gives her target a stress token if at least 1 critical hit was cancelled. Giving stress to opposing ships is always good in X-Wing, since it severely limits their maneuver options if they want to shed it quickly, and takes away their action if they choose to fly stressed. Kath can take an elite pilot talent as well. The last unique Firespray pilot is Crassus Trelix. He costs 36 points and has a pilot skill of 5. Whenever he attacks with a secondary weapon, he can re-roll 1 die. This is a really good ability, but in order to make use of it, you need to equip a secondary weapon and increase his build cost. However, since his ability acts as a sort of limited target lock for his secondary weapons, you can use your action for focus or evade instead. Finally, the non-unique Bounty Hunter costs 33 points and has a pilot skill of 3. As with all non-unique pilots in the game, he has no special ability. However, it's possible to field a squadron of 3 of these guys in 100-point games, and that's still a solid build, although its effectiveness has been reduced with the release of ships like the TIE Phantom that can fairly easily stay outside of both of the Firespray's firing arcs. There are 2 elite pilot talent upgrades in this expansion. Veteran Instincts cost 1 point, and increases your pilot skill by 2. It's also included with the Millennium Falcon expansion pack. This is an excellent upgrade if you have a pilot that you want to always shoot first during combat. Expose costs 4 points and uses your action to increase your attack value by 1 and lower your agility value by 1 until the end of the round. While it's expensive at 4 points, there are certainly pilots and situations where it can be extremely effective. Corin Horn's E-Wing at range 1, for example, could attack twice with 5 dice in the same combat round. That's pretty huge. The agility reduction is a drawback, but it's controllable, especially on ships with barrel roll or boost that can get out of firing arcs. It doesn't matter what your agility value is if the enemy can't fire on you. Homing missiles costs 5 points and are also available in the A-Wing expansion pack. This is a secondary weapon that requires, but doesn't spend, a target lock to fire. It rolls 4 dice at ranges 2 to 3 and ignores evade tokens on the defender. This is a great weapon for going up against TIE-class ships because not being able to spend evade tokens makes them easier to hit. Against just about anything else, though, it feels overcosted, so it's highly situational. If TIE interceptor builds are popular in this area, this upgrade might be a superstar for you. Assault missiles are the anti-swarm weapon of choice in the game, and Fantasy Flight wants to make sure everyone has easy access to them. They're also included in the Millennium Falcon, TIE Bomber, and Z-95 expansions. For 5 points, this secondary weapon spends your target lock to roll 4 attack dice on a target at ranges 2 to 3, and on a hit also deals 1 damage to each other ship at range 1 of the target. Since both factions currently in the game are capable of fielding swarms of up to 8 ships, and such builds remain extremely viable, assault missiles are certainly a good option. However, since they require a hit to get their added damage effect, the munitions failsafe modification is practically a requirement to guarantee that you don't waste those 5 points on a miss. Fire sprays like cannons, and this expansion gives you 2 of them. The ion cannon costs 3 points, and is also available in the B-Wing and TIE Defender expansions. This secondary weapon rolls 3 dice at ranges 1 to 3, and on a hit deals 1 damage and gives the defender an ion token. Small ships with ion tokens skip their next maneuver phase and instead move straight forward at speed 1, and then discard the ion token. Large ships require 2 ion tokens before the effect kicks in. Ion weapons are great for controlling enemy ships, plain and simple. If you land a hit, you know where that ship will be after the next maneuver phase, and if you can position your ships to take advantage of it, you can cripple and destroy key enemy ships easily. Heavy Laser Cannon costs 7 points and is also available in the Lambda-class shuttle and YT-2400 expansions. It rolls 4 dice at ranges 2 to 3, but converts any critical hits into normal hits immediately after making the roll. However, any further dice modification or rerolls that result in critical hits are good to go. Although this is a very costly card, it can certainly be worth it. Keep in mind that since it's a secondary weapon, it can only be used with a fire spray's standard front-facing firing arc. Seismic charges are a bomb upgrade that cost 2 points. They're also included in the TIE Bomber expansion. Bombs get dropped when you reveal your maneuver dial. At the end of the activation phase, Seismic Charge detonates and deals 1 damage to every ship in range 1. Proximity Mines are a 3-point cost bomb upgrade unique to this expansion pack. It drops a fairly large token on the board that remains in play until a ship flies into it, at which time it detonates. The ship that triggered the explosion takes a 3 dice attack roll and suffers all damage results. Then the bomb is discarded. This is a neat and nasty weapon, since it lets you basically add an obstacle to the board wherever you want, forcing your opponent to change his plans or risk a potentially huge, unavoidable hit. Gunner is a 5-point crew upgrade that is also available in the YT-2400 expansion. It lets you perform a primary weapon attack immediately after you make an attack that doesn't hit. This is a really good upgrade that can be essential for stripping the defenses of hard-to-hit ships like TIE Interceptors and TIE Phantoms. Mercenary Copilot costs 2 points and is also available in the YT-2400 expansion. It lets you change 1 normal hit into a critical hit when attacking at range 3. This is an example of an effect that would let your heavy laser cannon deliver a critical hit after an attack roll. However, the fact that it only works at range 3 makes it very situational. Still, it's inexpensive at 2 points, and if it means that you can land even a single critical hit during the game, it's probably worth the price. There are 2 copies of Stealth Device in this expansion. This is a 3-point modification upgrade that is currently only available here. It increases your agility value by 1 until you take a hit, at which point it's discarded. Since it's a modification, you can use this on any ship in the game, and on anything with 3 agility, it's amazing. That means almost every TIE class ship in the game can roll 4 defense dice, and cloaked TIE Phantoms can roll 5 dice. On the Rebel side, A-Wings and E-Wings with this upgrade roll 4 defense dice. It's one of the best upgrades in the game simply by virtue of being great on such a wide variety of ships. Just be careful around Captain Blount's Z-95 if you have a ship with this card. Since his ability counts any attack he makes as a hit even if no damage is dealt, he'll strip Stealth Device away regardless of how many defense dice you've got. There's a reason that this upgrade is in this expansion though. It bumps the already respectable agility value of 2 up to a very nice 3 on the Fire Spray. Keep an evade token on your ship and it's going to take a very lucky roll to make damage stick to it. Lastly, we of course get the Slave 1 title card. It's free, so there's no reason not to always include it on your Fire Spray. It simply adds a torpedo upgrade slot to the upgrade bar, giving you an even wider range of secondary weapons to choose from when building your ship. Torpedoes are rare on the Imperial side, so it's good to have this option. And that's the Slave 1 expansion pack for X-Wing. Despite my misgivings about this ship being included as part of the Imperial faction, I can't deny that it's a really solid addition to the game. Fantasy Flight has kept this expansion especially relevant by including a couple of great upgrades that you can't get anywhere else. And of course, the imminent release of Scum and Villainy in Wave 6 means that the Fire Spray is about to get a whole new set of pilots and upgrade options, not to mention a new version of Boba Fett. There's a ton of great stuff in this expansion, to the point where I think any serious X-Wing player needs at least one in their collection. Thanks for watching the Cardboard Dungeons X-Wing Ship Reviews. See you next time.